Welcome to the Six Pack Sports Talk. Got my boy Jason's Ball Talk.
Yes, sir.
I'm BDT Athletics. I'm gonna talk a little NBA playoff preview today. Gonna break down some awards, maybe a little contract talk, a little lottery talk as well. Just a little NBA all around, little round table. Just the two of us. Yes, sir. Um, let's start with some award talk. I think the most controversial award, or I guess the one that's most up for grabs, would be the Rookie of the Year between Concanipple and Cooper Flag. I guess I'll ask who are you leaning? Even though I'm a little bit out of it, but I feel like it's a little bit obvious.
I think it's Khan.
I think it's Khan.
I'm on the side of Khan a little more. Mostly just because of the consistency of Khan. I don't think you don't see this type of consistency out of rookies, especially shooting wise.
Exactly.
Which has been the most impressive thing to me. I've never at least in my time watching, I've never seen a rookie shoot as good as Khan has. And when you watch Khan, he just doesn't. He also doesn't feel like a rookie when you watch Khan. Like it's almost if you've never watched an NBA game before, didn't know who Khan was and couldn't guess his age, nothing like that. You would think Khan's been in the league a couple years already and just plays like a little bit of a seasoned vet. But I just think the consistency of Khan has put him a little over top of Coop. I know Coop's been going crazy these last
Recently. Oh my God, what do you have? 50 back to back?
Yeah, he had a couple 50 balls and Coop's been going crazy, but I don't know the consistency of Khan. Also, just the turnaround of the Hornets this year, I think contributes a little bit. I'm not super big on contributing winning the Rookie of the Year, but I think it's got to play a little factor that Charlotte goes from picking fourth overall and gonna be. Hold on, last I saw they're up. Yeah, they're up 10 on New York, so they're going to be a 44-win team. Most likely this year. It's a pretty big turnaround. Mm-hmm. Something I think you need the Rookie of the Year to do.
All right, I agree with that. What about Defensive Player of the Year? Who do you got for that?
It's going to be Wemby. So it's confirmed that he has the games.
Yeah, that was the question.
Which was pretty much what I was waiting to see. Outside of Wemby, I guess let's just go with the scenario. Wemby doesn't get the games, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think it would have been Gobert. He was probably next up. He's been fantastic defensively this year. But Wemby's just another planet defensively. There's not much else you can really say about Wemby. He's easily the best defensive player in the world. Best rim protector in the world. The only thing you can get him out there on the perimeter, and he's a little shaky out there, but we'll see how that looks in the playoffs a little. I'm wondering how San Antonio is going to keep him away from switching, how they're going to keep him close to the rim in the playoffs. I'm intrigued to see that. But yeah, when Wemby's presence around the rim, his rebounding also has been. He's been a lot better of a rebounder than I expected. Yeah. I thought he was going to get pushed around a little bit.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, I thought he'd get pushed around a little more than he does as a rebounder, but he does a good job at getting in there and using his length. Yeah. But yeah, defensive player of the year, it's probably Wemby. If you want three, probably say Wemby, Gobert, and Ausar Thompson, maybe? No, Bam hasn't been up there for me. Ausar Thompson's easily, to me, the best wing defender in basketball. And he's been fantastic this year. Just JB Bickerstaff needs to stop with his bullshit and his little, I don't feel like playing Ausar today that much, so he's only going to play 22 minutes. Like, alright, JB. We don't need to be doing that.
Tripping for real, yeah. Wemby's a planetary force defensively.
Yeah, he's gonna win Defensive Player of the Year every year he's eligible.
Yeah, as long as he's eligible. That's the question.
As long as he's eligible, he's winning it. The only other person that's going to be close to him maybe is Sar and Chet.
Yeah, they might just give it to one of them, like just because Wemby's won it a couple years in a row or something, and they're like, all
Okay,
right,
Chet would be number 3 for me, not a Sar.
there you go. Yeah, chat. All right.
Shut up.
One that maybe I only get a lot of Miami news, but I don't know if he's even in the running. But I know his stats have been crazy. Sixth man of the year. What about like is Jaime Jaquez in the running or?
Six man's been weird to me this year. I don't think there's like been. I think in previous years we've had cases where it's Nas Reed, I'm trying not to look off the top of my head. It's just there's no Peyton Pritchard. He started some games
Keldon
early on.
Johnson's the one that I saw people tweeting about a lot.
Keldon Johnson, he made a case for himself a couple weeks ago, and that pretty much since then he's been the favorite. I don't know exactly that that's been the problem with six man this year. I don't think anybody's really stood out.
Yeah, I mean,
as like an overwhelming favorite. Keldon's been good off the bench.
I'll just give what one article said. NBC Sports they had four writers pick. 3 of them picked Keldon Johnson. 1 picked Jaime Jaquez. So I don't. Obviously, NBC Sports is not the end all be all. But that's just one article. That's who they view as favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go look through games played too again just to make sure who's even there, who's met the requirements. But it'd be between those two for me. And if Jaime's eligible, I'd probably take Jaime
He is
over
eligible.
Keldon.
I believe he has more total points.
I'd take Jaime Jaquez over Keldon Johnson this year.
I believe he has like the most
Keldon's
points up.
very good though.
Most like a
Keldon has been very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big
Give
part
me
of
Jaime.
Spurs.
For sure. But I would probably take Jaime.
Hopefully they do. That'd be awesome.
Jaime's been really good to me.
All right. We could go into who do you feel has been most improved player?
Most improved's been pretty fun
Yeah.
to see. There's been a lot of guys that have improved. Personal shout out, Keontae George would be my pick, but he didn't get the games, but because he rolled both of his ankles. That's back. He's been out pretty much half since February. He's been out pretty much. So
Dang.
shout out Keontae. But Nikhil Alexander-Walker, I think is pretty clearly most improved player this year. Went and signs the deal in Atlanta after having a couple good years with Minnesota as, backup 1/2. I guess he was their backup 1 in Minnesota, but injuries early on in Atlanta forces him to start, and everybody finds out that he can score the basketball again. Which I don't think people remember when he was drafted. That's what he was drafted to be, was a bucket getter. That's what he was in New Orleans. He was a bench scorer, and I think people forgot that. Nikhil can get buckets. His defense hasn't been the level of what it was in Minnesota, but I think that has a lot to do with taking more of an offensive burden on for Atlanta. You also could see how much more of an impact he's given Atlanta. They're, as of right now, they're a 5 seed. They're looking like they're going to be the 5 seed in the East, 5 or 6. It's one of the two. But yeah, Atlanta hasn't been out the play-in too since been a while. So for that kind of turnaround for them too, especially starting as bad as they did early in the year. Nikhil's been pretty much the second biggest reason for that turnaround. So if I had to go most improved player this year, it'd be Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Shout out second Jalen Duren.
Oh.
I think Jalen Duren has massively improved this year.
Yeah.
And it's a big reason why the Pistons have taken such a big leap.
Yeah.
So shout out Duren there.
Yeah, unfortunately, our playing buddies left us. The Bulls are in the lottery now. The Hawks made the actual playoffs. We're all alone, dude. We don't got our buddies anymore.
You guys fell to the 10 seed now. Oh.
We better lose. Anyways, um, two more awards, I believe. So we'll go. Who do you believe has been the coach of the year? It's probably obvious. Maybe not though.
Missoula is probably
Because
coach of the year.
the C's, because
Yeah,
how well they were without Tatum. Yeah,
I'm going Missoula. No way I would have thought they would have been the 2 seed with the roster they had coming into the year. He's gotten a lot of great minutes. Not just good, but he's gotten great minutes out of Kada. Baylor Shireman has been fantastic in the limited minutes he's played for them. Jordan Walsh, when he plays, has been good. Next to Kada, he found a starting center. Sam Hauser has been really good. Like a lot of these guys I'm naming are guys that barely played last season for Boston, and B, guys you don't expect to be huge contributors on good rosters like Boston's been, but Joe Mazzulla has gotten that team back to a number 2 seed. They look real threatening going into the playoffs. He's got Tatum back. Other than Missoula, I want to give a shout out to a couple guys. Charles Lee down in Charlotte. People thought he was a joke for a while.
seriously, going into the year.
Beginning of the year, people were questioning like if he was a real basketball coach.
No, seriously. I mean,
Yeah, people like earliest December they thought he should have been fired, and I was like, I don't think Charles Lee is as bad as, but he's really turned around Charlotte and built a culture there, which a lot of coaches have failed to do. So, for the first time, and since they came back to Charlotte, look like we got a team that we can look forward to for the future in Charlotte. So, shout out to Charles Lee. Mitch Johnson also over in San Antonio. I think that's who's contending Missoula for sure. Did not think the Spurs were going to jump to being this good of a team this season.
definitely not.
I did not, yeah. Can't believe how much he's gotten the most out of Stephon Castle.
Yeah, he's a baller.
He's really made it work between Castle, Fox, and Harper. Harper's looked fantastic his rookie year. Obviously Wemby. Mitch Johnson got a great defense he's leading down there. Obviously a lot because of Wemby. But, making the jump from, being a lottery team to straight to a 60-plus win team, you got to look at who this is the head coach. And Mitch Johnson, I think, has done a fabulous job there.
No, I mean, there's been a lot of good stories, especially, the Pistons as well, with them going from, was it not last year or 2 years ago where they were, 1-21? And now they're the
They
third
lost
seed.
27 in a row in 23, I believe.
23.
23 or 24.
All right, so it's a little bit farther
One of
than
the
I
two.
thought.
Yeah, one of the two, but
A little bit farther than I thought, but still. That's
yeah,
obviously not much
just a couple years back, they were the worst team in basketball. Now they're the best team in basketball.
Yeah, or at least in the East. I mean, they were, yeah. I mean, Cade's in
2 years,
so.
2 years back, yeah.
So, yeah, and then obviously the most important award, I would say, MVP, decided by games played. I'd say. Who do you got?
I've been on Shea all year, and I don't think anybody else should win the award.
Really?
It's Shea. Yeah.
Why not?
I think it's been
Jokic. I would. What's wrong with you?
Jokic had a really rough month after he came back from injury. I don't think he was very good for.
I feel like that makes sense, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think that tanked his case.
Well, what was the injury, if I may ask?
I don't remember off the top of my
I'll
head.
look it up.
I want to say it was a leg injury.
That might mess with him.
Well, I just think his play definitely fell off for a good little month. He had a bad. I think every other candidate outside of Shea has had a bad month of the season.
And Shea just never did.
Shea has stayed consistent all year. I don't think anybody has been as good as Shea is consistently all year. Luka in December was not good. He was chucking threes and foul baiting for a month. Jokic, when he came back from injury, just wasn't himself. Also, the defense has been. I think the past month, the defense has gone down too some. Which, I mean, isn't saying much for Jokic because he's not a good defender to begin with, but I think him falling off as a defender doesn't help much either. And then Wemby, the beginning of the season for him was a little slow, scoring wise. He didn't really turn it on offensively till, midway through February. And he really wasn't up there for me till he made that. He wasn't up there on the boards till he made a case for himself. Mm-hmm. He talked his way into being on the MVP. Otherwise, I think his play towards the end of the year has probably put him up there for me, anyways. But I just think he didn't start. His start of the season scoring wise wasn't good enough for me. I think Shea is just clearly, obviously been on the best team. A lot of his team's been hurt as well. Chet missed time. J-Dub's pretty much missed the whole year. Caruso's missed a lot of time. AJ Mitchell's missed a lot of time. Chet and Hartenstein both have missed time. And even Shea's missed a little time, but he's still been the best.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. I was just mostly trying to give like a other's point. But so that kind of breaks down what we feel for award talk. We could go next to big name team, big name player asking for a big time contract. Reports say Austin Reeves is looking for a 5-year in the range of $240 to $245 million contract extension. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to act like I've watched every Lakers game. He's had a pretty darn good year this year by any metric, but I don't think he's produced like this at all throughout his career, so it's quite a stretch to pay him that much for 5 years, in my opinion, but let me ask how you feel about it.
The way he started the season, to me, put a perception on him as a player that I don't think he is. I think people saw how he was without Bron and Luka in the lineup and thought, hey, this is Austin Reeves. This is how good he can really be. This is him at his best. And in reality, when you put him... I think once you get into a deeper example like a playoff setting, I don't think that's... I don't think that's where he is. His play has also dropped since that hot start to the year. I think some of it also has to do with playing next to Luka. I don't think that, your numbers are definitely going to drop off playing next to Luka, a little as a non-ball scorer. It is what it is for him. But, I'll say this. The Lakers to pay the max to Austin Reeves would pretty much... I think it would hurt them. I don't think having an Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic backcourt defensively is just gonna kill you in the playoffs. I see a hard time building a defensive unit around those two in your backcourt. Now, would I say a team needing a scorer like Austin Reeves maybe overpaying the max in free agency? I don't know that I would do it still personally, but I would understand it a little more. I can't think of guard-heavy teams, guard-needy teams, not guard-heavy, guard-needy teams off the top of my head, but Austin Reeves for, 240, you're starting to scare me. I think he's a little more in that range of like $30 to $35 million player range. Somebody I don't remember the podcast, so I can't shout it out. But I was listening to somebody brought up the point when his athleticism declines, he's going to have a really harsh drop off because he's already very limited athletically as he is. So whatever athleticism he has, once it's gone, it's just going to be a nasty fall off because he's going to have such a hard time getting to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And he already isn't the greatest at downhill. But also to point out too, he hasn't shown it in the playoffs. Minnesota removed him out of that series easily last year. They shut him down. So if he wants that max, he better show up in the playoffs this year. If he even plays.
That's
because we can't go into he can't go into contract year again with another, hey, I went in the playoffs injured. Well, you still haven't shown us anything in the playoffs, so we can't. I don't know. Hard for me to max out a guy that hasn't. I can understand maxing out a guy that hasn't, proven it in the playoffs yet, but you can see the game translate. Austin Reeves been in the playoffs now, and his game hasn't translated yet. So I think this is a very telling playoffs for him if he even plays.
Yeah, we'll have to see that. That's the big question.
Yeah.
Because that'll answer some questions. Because if he goes off, they get a chance to get him in, and he actually starts becoming a real difference maker. Then maybe he can earn it.
Yeah. Then if he can show that he's a difference maker in the playoffs, then you can justify the defense.
I agree.
It's whatever, because you have Luka. But
because they're trying to win. Yeah, they have Luka.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to win, but if he doesn't show up in the playoffs again, it's like, can you justify? If you're the Lakers, I guess in this sense, can you even justify paying him at all?
That's tough.
Yeah, it makes it really tough.
It's a real dilemma.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the bigger off-season talking points, I think.
For sure. I mean, because there's gonna be so much talk about if LeBron's gone, which he probably is. Where he's going, all that talk. So the Lakers are going to be under the spotlight.
To look really different.
Yeah, so they're going to be under the spotlight all offseason. So that's going to include Austin Reeves' contract extension.
For sure.
We can move on to topic 3, lottery talk. How we feel the lottery is going to shape up. A little jazz segment. Hopefully, a Heat segment. Segment.
So I believe Washington is locked in. They've locked in. They're the worst team in the league.
Okay, they're the worst.
Yep, I think they're officially. Yep, they are officially going to be the worst team in the league. And I'm assuming they're going to lose again today. So they're going to be a 17-win team this year.
Yeah, they let Bam get 83.
Yeah, shout out. So let's give a big shout out to Washington. Shout out.
Shout them out for real.
The lottery's going to shape out pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Indiana needs to stay in the top 4 to keep their pick.
Who is it possibly going to?
The Clippers. If it's 5 through 9, the Clippers have the pick.
Wow.
Right now, Indiana has the second best odds. So, as long as 2 teams don't jump, or 3, I believe, and they don't fall, they're good. But
that'd be bad.
They're still, it's a little scary situation for them.
That'd be bad.
It would be. That's the thing. Because then essentially they're giving up a top 5 pick, top 10-ish pick, plus another unprotected one for Zubac.
Yeah.
That's a pretty hefty price to pay for Zubac, if you ask me.
Yeah, and the situation that they can bring a top prospect into with Halliburton coming back this upcoming year with Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard. They don't have Mathurin anymore. Yeah, who did they get? Zubac. Right?
Yeah, that was Zubac.
Sorry about that. They got Zubac.
Oh, yeah, you reminded me. Mathurin was in that trade, too. Wow.
Yeah, he was playing good for the Clippers, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And he was pretty...
So
he was off and on in the playoff run. But when he was on, he was balling.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
he's been good over there.
Yeah.
He's been good over there in LA since he's got there too.
There you go.
They still have Neesmith as well, and I love the Aaron.
Thank you.
Love Neesmith. But yeah, you're right. Like adding one of these top prospects, like imagine Cam Boozer getting added to that team. Like
Alley, Cam Boozer, Aaron
Alex,
Naismith,
yeah,
Pascal
Neesmith,
Siakam, Zubox.
Zoo.
That's
Yeah, they have
filthy.
yeah, adding a top 4 pick would do them wonders over there. But they need to hope the lottery
Does
drops
them
their way.
justice.
Other teams that I think have some intriguing, um, obviously the Jazz. They need to stay in the top 8 to keep their pick. Otherwise, it goes to the Thunder, which they're at 4. So I'm pretty sure they're pretty safe
Have to be
in
some
keeping.
crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, yeah, a lot needs to happen. Um, New Orleans pick that goes to Atlanta. If I count this right, so Utah's 4, Sac's 5, Dallas
Man.
is Dallas is 6, Memphis is 7, New Orleans will be 8. So Atlanta has the 8th best odds, along with being the 5 seed.
That's insane.
That could be, yeah, that could really jumpstart. I'm assuming they'll look at a guard.
Yeah.
Because Dyson Daniels just can't shoot.
McCollum's up there in age.
McCollum, yeah. Which, quick side note, he has been
He
fantastic
really
for them.
has.
He's been, I've loved every second of CJ McCollum in Atlanta, which has been pretty surprising.
Yeah, 100%.
His playmaking's even like giving me a little shock.
Wow.
Because I was convinced when he was traded from Portland to New Orleans, I thought his playmaking was going to show. And it just never did.
It really didn't.
And it was part of the big reason why New Orleans never went anywhere. Because they didn't have any playmaking on it, those teams. But anyways. So the other interesting, I guess, part of the lottery, I guess. So Milwaukee still has a pick, technically, this year. It swaps with Atlanta. It's worse.
Oh,
So
dang, it's
if
worst.
yes, so if the Bucks won the lottery, Atlanta gets that pick. Yeah. So essentially, Atlanta has really good lottery odds this year because they have 2 chances.
They're set up so well. Holy cow.
But I just want to say, is there any way Milwaukee with a pick? Is there a way they can intrigue Giannis to stick around, or are we done with that? That's over.
I feel like that's over, but I mean, I don't know how is there any way they could get the number 1 overall pick? Because obviously now hearing that they're odds.
I think technically the highest Milwaukee would technically be able to get is 2.
Oh, because then
Which-
if like Atlanta
Yeah,
could do themselves.
they need the scenario of they would need to win the lottery and Atlanta would need to jump up to 2.
But would it have to be with their own pick, or is that the New Orleans pick?
It would have to be. So the New Orleans pick, it was a swap rights from the Drew Holiday trade
Okay.
with the Bucks.
Oh.
And then New Orleans traded that unprotected to the Hawks
Oh.
when they moved up for Derek Queen last year,
Okay.
which crazy to me. Yeah, crazy to me. Because Atlanta, I also want to put this out there. Atlanta was targeting Newell, which is who they took at 20.
Oh.
At that same pick that New Orleans moved up to get Derek Queen at.
So, they
So
still
Atlanta-
got who they wanted.
Atlanta essentially dropped 10 spots, got the guy they wanted, and picked up a top 10 pick this year. That's great work. That's great work in Atlanta.
Shout out to GM. Holy hell.
Yeah, GMs. Couple other interesting points on the lottery. I guess not points, but I guess just just little interesting things. The Bulls, I think, are gonna have a top 10 pick finally.
Heat just beat the Hawks, by the way. Sorry. Continue.
They did.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They blew them
So
up.
Toronto wins, they move up to the 5 seed.
Let me look at some scoreboards here. Keep talking, by the way, because I know you're about to talk about
Um, I will. I have to say, the Bulls having a high pick kind of intrigues me in this draft. I know people are pretty down on the Bulls, rightfully so, but a new front office coming in with a top 10 pick. And I think you already have a couple pieces there. I think Matas and Josh Giddey are your building blocks. If you could find another wing to get next to Giddey in this draft, I think you're starting to build something. Because I don't think it's a big man draft. I don't think that's where. I don't think the draft is where you're going to solve your big man issues this year. If you're the Bulls.
Yeah.
And I don't think Jalen Smith is that bad, anyways. I like Jalen Smith. I'm higher than most people are on him, but
The Raptors are going to beat the Nets, by the way. They're almost up 30 right now.
yeah. So the Raptors will get the 5 seed.
Shit,
So Atlanta's going to play. So it's going to be Atlanta, New York.
Wow.
We'll get to see Atlanta, New York again.
Knicks Spurs finals. All right, anyway.
That's a good matchup. That's a bad matchup for New York. Atlanta would much prefer to play New York. And Toronto, we'll get into this in a few minutes. Last point on the lottery. Portland, I believe, needs to get into the playoffs, and the Bulls will get an extra pick.
Yeah. I think that's.
I don't know how exactly it works. I don't know how exactly it'll work because the Heat, I believe, are 13th.
Yeah.
I believe Portland is 15th in the lottery.
Yeah.
So even if they lose in the play-in, I think there's still a way they miss out on a lottery pick.
I hope they wouldn't go 0-2. That would be real bad luck for the Bulls.
That would be. The Bulls could really use that extra pick this year.
Exactly. They really could this year.
And I think Portland would probably obviously not in this draft class prefer it to convey, but I don't think Portland would want it to sit around waiting for it to convey forever. They also are kind of in a position where they don't exactly really need another high draft pick. They could just they need to play the guys they have now. Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson. They still got Grant on that outrageous deal. Shouts out to Donovan Clingan. Big shouts out to Donovan Clingan. He's looked fantastic in the second half. That's your next. I'll put you on. That's your next Brook Lopez, but like
Shit.
a way better rebounding Brook Lopez.
Oh shit.
I guess I say this. Imagine combine early years net Brook Lopez, like his rebounding and his down low. Not really the post game, but and then add in current version Brook Lopez with the 3-ball. That's Donovan Clingan.
Jeez.
And he's a great rim protector.
Dang.
Great rim. And he doesn't foul a ton.
He's got a high ceiling. Holy cow.
Yeah, there was a couple teams like Charlotte when they passed on him, I could not believe it.
Yeah.
Cuz Charlotte with Clingan right now would be
You mean when do they have like another pick or like passed on him at 4 is what you're saying?
So Portland took him at 7.
Oh, so you wanted them to take him at 4?
The Hornets had 6 that year. Clingan was taken.
Oh, is that 24?
The Hornets took Tijon Saloon,
Oh.
who I will say he was better this year.
Okay.
He looked like an NBA player at times.
At times.
So listen, there are still some pretty low moments for him, but
Yeah.
he looked a lot better than his rookie year. Because his rookie year, he was probably the worst player in the league.
Oh man.
He was bad. He was terrible. But yeah, Bulls really need that pick from Portland. That would really help them. kind of kickstart a rebuild, which is what they're doing. Nothing to hide from now.
Yeah. No, 1000%. Um, we can get into the meat and potatoes of this now. A little play-in and playoff talk. Uh,
The best part of the season.
yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm excited to see how Portland does in a playoff setting because their offense already isn't. Their offense already is kind of a struggle to me. They chuck a lot of threes and they're not a great 3-point shooting team. Lately they've kind of been on fire. Tumani's been hitting his threes. Drew Holiday's been fantastic these past 3 weeks.
Wow.
Klingen's been shooting more. So if they're gonna keep up their 3-point shooting, I mean, variances can get real wild and it can win them a couple games. So I'm excited to see how that how Portland does. Phoenix though, I think will win that matchup. There's something about Phoenix where it's like an effort team. They just won't quit.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only thing I have a lot of concerns with is Dylan Brooks is going to try and play a lot of hero ball in the playoffs.
Oh.
And we all know he's very liable to shoot you out of games. So if they can tame Dylan Brooks, we could see a really fun Suns team. But Jalen Green finally healthy. Book's healthy. You got Brooks back now from the broken hand. I don't know what Mark Williams said. I think Mark Williams has been in and out of the lineup too, but I think he'll be healthy.
We'll do some we'll do some like general playoff predictions. We'll try to do round by round, like do a little round recaps.
Yeah.
So we'll try to adjust our picks as so, but we'll try to do a quick playoff bracket at the end. How do you feel about that possible 4-5 matchup? Lakers Rockets right now could become Nuggets Rockets.
I don't know how to feel with Houston.
Yeah.
There's such like the last 2 weeks. I think I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see what Houston's trying to do. Then again, their half-court offense is going to be awful in the playoffs because Amen Thompson is going to be your lead ball handler. So, I don't know. I think Houston's obvious matchup they want the Lakers. I mean, if you get no Luka to start the first round and no Austin Reeves, yeah, I think you want that team. It's gonna have to play DeAndre Ayton heavy minutes as well if you play them, which is a concern for me in that series because,
Sengun's gonna get his.
Yeah, Sengun's gonna get hit. The Rockets offensive rebounding is just so good, and DeAndre Ayton is the only paint presence in that series for the Lakers. I mean, JJ Redick has shown a little more trust in Jackson Hayes in the second half of the season, so Jackson Hayes could maybe. I don't see him doing much in that series, but I mean, he can give you some minutes. But yeah, DeAndre Ayton's gonna have to play, and because we saw it last year when Hayes just got played off the floor like immediately against the Timberwolves, LeBron had to be the 5. And Minnesota just, exactly what they attacked the hell out of the rim.
Damn.
So, I mean, I think the big thing with where the Lakers end up here as well, they have 2 bad matchups because they're getting forced to play DeAndre Ayton heavy minutes. Either they're going to go up against offensive rebounding attack of the Rockets or Jokic.
Yeah.
And you have to play Ayton against Jokic because you need some size on the floor. LeBron can't be the biggest player on the floor. So, I think that... I'll say this. I don't think Ayton's been as bad as what I thought he was at the beginning of the season. But I still wouldn't... I'm still not betting on the team that has to play him 35... That would have to play him 35 minutes a night in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not betting on that team to really do much. Denver's case, I think that they're going to shoot the lights out of whoever they play.
Yeah.
I think that's their big thing. They've been one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. I think their attempts are going to go up in the playoffs. I know they haven't been shooting it like crazy in the regular season, but when you get that rotation down, they got some real shooters over there. Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson. Tim Hardaway's been amazing off the bench for them. Throwing that out there. Spencer Jones can hit some threes. Aaron Gordon can shoot the ball really well. These past 2 years, I mean...
when he couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Their only non-shooter in that lineup is Christian Braun. So, and if teams are going to just sag off him in the playoffs, Tim Hardaway Jr., he goes right in the game. Because you don't lose a ton defensively. Tim Hardaway's defended well this year, I think.
Yeah.
Which has been a little surprising to me. I didn't know he was as good of a defender as he's been this year. But I think Denver just... The matchup they don't want to see is Minnesota. I don't know what it is, but Minnesota just has their number. I think it's a real good rivalry. Minnesota just has little matchups that I think just annoys Denver.
I just don't know if they have anyone that can guard Anthony Edwards.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's another thing for me.
A big problem.
I don't think John can check him. I don't think Cam Johnson. I don't think anybody
Not
can.
one-on-one, you know? Yeah.
And also, I think Julius hasn't been... He's been better the last week and a half, 2 weeks. But he hasn't been good in the second half. I also wonder... He could be a little bit of a mismatch problem in that series.
True.
Because I know Denver likes to use Aaron Gordon more as a perimeter defender in the playoffs. If I remember the last time they played in the playoffs, Aaron Gordon was checking Anthony Edwards for a lot of the series.
Oh, yeah, that's what they would probably have to do.
Yeah, and so I wonder who goes on Julius, if that's Cam Johnson's matchup, then
yeah, Julius is gonna big body him.
Yeah, you got to get Julius the ball. You got to let him feast in that series.
100%.
Yeah, I think Minnesota. Minnesota's like my dark horse over there in the West. I'll come out and say it. I think they have their 8 that they can go with in a playoff setting is just one of the better. I think it's one of the best you can go with. You'll go. I'm assuming this is just what I'm assuming Minnesota will go. It's DiVincenzo, Ant, McDaniels, Randall, Gobert, and then it will be Nas, Ayo, and Kyle Anderson. And if you ask me, I don't know. I'm liking that a lot. The only concern I have with Minnesota is how they defend with Gobert off the floor.
Yeah.
Because it's been a huge challenge for them. Gobert is like the sole reason they've had a top 5 defense all year.
Yeah, that's
right. And I'll throw Jaden McDaniels some love there too. But other than that, they got to figure out what they're doing in the playoff, because I mean, you know that Rudy's offense can get him off the floor pretty easily.
Yeah.
And if teams are scheming around him offensively, you know, it can get tricky for Minnesota, because now it's well, now you got to take him off the floor because you need the offense with Nav Reed, but now you don't have any defensive rebounding.
Yeah.
So I think that's my only concern with Minnesota. But they're definitely my dark horse. I think they can wreak some havoc, especially if they draw Denver in round one. You could take out a contender right there.
We can move on to the East.
Uh, Joel Embiid, if he does play, is gonna have to protect the rim and rebound in that game as well. Which his rebounding has been some suspect this year. His rim protection's been better as the season's gone on, but the rebounding needs to be there in the playoffs for him. And then I guess on Orlando's side, what are they gonna do offensively? Because their offense has just been Jamal Mosley has refused to change the offense in his time being there. And I do believe if they can't get out of the play-in this year, I think it's time for him to go. I was yelling about it early in the season that I think they should have looked to move on from him anyways. After Paulo and him had that little dispute about Mosley doesn't make adjustments at halftime, I guess. Which is quite concerning to me if you're going to be a high-level playoff team. And so far, in the years that Mosley's been there, we haven't seen the match make it out the first round. I wonder why. I think it's time to start making some adjustments. But, yeah, their offense just is the big thing. Now, they are going to be healthy, finally. Suggs is healthy. Franz has been playing the last few games. Bane's healthy. Paolo's healthy. Wendell's there. I guess Wendell. De Silva's healthy. I think Anthony Black is back too. So we'll see if maybe a healthy roster helps the offense more with them. That's their only concern. Not their only concern, but that's my big concern for them. Just against anybody.
I think it's we need to lose. We need to be in the lottery. It's about time. No, I'm not saying, dude, there's almost no chance we move up. Obviously, if we move up, that's awesome. But even
All
the
right.
13th pick, we could really use. I don't know what we're going to do this offseason. I think it's either something drastic, like maybe we move on from Spo. And I know that's pretty much crazy talk. That's blasphemy to say. I mean, he's been an institution for, I think, 20 years almost with the Heat. So pretty crazy to talk about it like that, but I mean, I feel.
Well,
like
let me put it to you like this. Let me put it to you like this. Like, it's almost like Mike Tomlin to me in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike Tomlin is a bad coach.
Right.
I just think he was in one place for so long. He just started developing bad habits as a coach.
And yeah, and the fact of the matter is the message
Spo,
got stale.
Exactly, and I think Spo's starting to turn that same way with the Heat organization.
The message is getting stale, and
Yeah.
and I'm not going to necessarily say like we need to fire him. Like maybe we're not going to. We're probably going to just act like everything's okay and injuries caused this or something. Which obviously we suffered injuries. Every team does. That's just what happens in the sport. Maybe we need to move on. I mean, something drastic has to happen. Whether we're bad, that's what I would say. We make some moves, try to get as many like assets as we can for the future, and just be kind of just be bad for a couple of years. Not I'm not even necessarily saying tank, but just we should probably maybe think about a hero moving on from hero. Moving off of like why did we give Nikola Jovic 4 years, $62 million? Why was that the move?
Bought in the hype.
I mean, the constant mistakes from the same front office. We're not learning. It's very frustrating as a fan. Obviously, I sound very spoiled because the Heat have been one of the most successful franchises in sports since I've been alive. So definitely am a bit spoiled, but
I mean,
it's just
you
you
got a
want
right to be angry when you've been in the play-in every year since it's been created.
literally we've been in the worst position in sports. Obviously, best is good. Second best is being bad because then you at least have a chance at those game
Yeah,
changing prospects that come up. Worst is in the middle where you're not going to get a game changing prospect. You're going to get, not saying the players we've gotten are bad, but they're not, you
they're not
know,
game changers.
they're not for example, getting uh, Precious Achua at pick 20. Like, if we
That's
were, that's a little bit earlier, so I guess I was just picking a draft pick. But, like,
well, I've always made the case too. Like, I guess in the way that the Heat have built the team, like example, you've built through your 13th overall pick, Bam Adebayo,
right.
and another, what was Hero?
He was
Around
13th or
13 as well?
14. 13th or
13
14.
or 14 as well. Obviously, both have developed into better players than probably their draft slot had suggested.
Certainly with Bam.
Yeah, especially with Bam for sure.
Yeah.
Bam is developed a lot nicer than expected. But
Right. 100%.
yeah, building your team with your two best players being almost outside of lottery picks. I think you're just, it's a tough spot. There's not I always ask this question: how many teams can win a championship without a top 10 player in the league? It's pretty hard.
When's the last time it happened? I mean, that's, gotta
Yeah,
go
exactly.
back. I don't know.
And you could argue when Jimmy Butler was there in Miami, he was a top 10 player.
Yeah, when he was in those finals runs, yes.
Exactly.
Back half, but yes.
But it's just like they're just missing that star, and I feel like they've just sat around waiting for somebody to just say, "I want to be in Miami" for so long. And it's just,
last big free agent Miami's got LeBron and Bosh. So obviously, I'm not acting like that ain't nothing. Obviously, those are the white whales, but that was 2010.
and I always have to. I feel like people forget too. Jimmy Butler,
For Jimmy.
yeah, they traded, by the way,
Yeah.
but also the Heat were not his initial pick. He wanted to stay in Philly. Philly just didn't want him.
They picked Tobias.
Yeah, it's just he just ended up there just because that's who was giving out money at the time.
Yeah, we gave him a fat deal.
And I'm kind of there with you. It's getting, we've harped on the Bulls for the past couple years for being in pretty much the exact same position, just hovering in as a play-in team and not having any sense of direction. Now, I would definitely argue the Heat roster has given me gives me a lot more to believe in than the Bulls have the past few years. But you're still kind of getting to a point where it's like, how many years are we going to keep going with Bam and Tyler Hero leading this squad, and it's just not going anywhere?
And we haven't had a
I think
point guard since Tim
Yeah.
Hardaway. Like, when's the last time?
Goran Dragic.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, whoa. You're right. Whoa.
Goran was still more of a 2 in Miami than he was a 1.
Yeah, I didn't think of him as a point guard because we do use him
He was
mostly as a 2.
Way more like a 2 in Miami.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you have a right to feel how you feel, because like I was saying, we harped on the Bulls for the past couple years for being in the same position, essentially not choosing a direction, and Miami's just kind of standing pat till they finally hear that superstar tell them, "I want to be in Miami." Well, that's great.
Yeah, because that did so well with Damian Lillard, right? We didn't even get him. We finally got someone to say they want to be in Miami, and
And then Pat watched it.
Classic Pat Riley, acting like he's the Don and everyone's gonna bend the knee. No, that's not how the league works anymore. Listen,
because remember that whole scenario.
They're not gonna,
Pat was pretty much trying to tell Joe Cronin that he had all the leverage and he wasn't sending him a good package. So Joe
Literally.
Cronin really looked at him and said, "Then you're not getting him," and then
Yeah.
shipped him to Milwaukee.
He's like, I have the leverage. I have the player. What are you talking about? We should be
And then
trying to
still-
negotiate, not me bend the knee. Like,
And then still, just to say, I still think Cronin ended up getting a better package from Milwaukee than he would have gotten from Miami.
depending on how you feel about like with Tyler Hero and that system, yeah. I agree with you, but I'm just saying if you were like high on Tyler Hero, maybe you could be like, no, he'd be balling.
I don't think I wasn't. I like Tyler Hero because I screamed about him being All NBA last year. I thought he was that good, but I don't think he would have worked next to Scoot really.
Yeah,
I don't know if that would've been-
no.
I don't think that would have been an amazing fit because even Tyler Hero can play off ball, but I think Hero needs the ball in his hand more than people think.
I think he's more effective with it.
I think so too.
Last thing on the Heat, I guess because I feel like that would be the most likely trade candidate. Who do you feel would want to trade for Tyler Hero? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. I feel like maybe the Bucks, but
Maybe the Bucks. I personally, I think Bam is actually more
ooh,
likely to be moved than Hero this
who
offseason.
do you feel would trade for him then?
There's a lot of teams.
Lakers.
The first team that comes to mind that I
LeBron?
think
Sorry,
who
I said Lakers.
LeBron?
LeBron for Bam. That'd be
LeBron
the
for Bam?
stupidest trade if the Heat did that.
I mean, Pat's dumb enough to do it,
I would
so
love it for 1 year, and then I'd be like, wait, why did we do that? Why did we?
yeah,
do
then he
that?
retire. Then he retire, and
Yeah,
then
he
you'd be
would.
like, "What?"
He'd be like, I'm out. Davion Mitchell's my point guard. Listen, and I love me some Dave. I'm out. I'm out. I deal with Mario
I gotta say,
Chalmers.
he had Mario Chalmers last time he was there, so I mean,
He could at least. Well, Davion can kind of shoot, right? Chalmers
yeah, he
can
shot
stripe
decent with
off
you
the
guys,
ball, but that's it.
and he defends. He
That's what I
defends.
love about Davion. That's why he's Heat culture. Great
He
defense.
does defend. Yeah, that's why he does play. I will say. Bam. If I had to give you three,
Yeah.
that I think would be spots that'd be perfect for Bam. Detroit would probably be the top of my list. I would love him next to Duran.
Oh, he's playing more like outside, more of the sniper role.
I think he would play a little more outside. I don't think the spacing would be much of a problem because Tobias Harris isn't shooting a ton of threes anyways.
Okay.
So, and I think Bam's shooting more a game than him anyways. So.
Yeah, he's shooting.
The
I think,
spacing,
34.
whatever. Yeah, the spacing, I'm not really concerned about there. I think the big thing would be the defense. I think it helps Duran a lot. I don't know how you like Detroit. You already can't score against. Add Bam. I really don't know how you score against that team. Then.
Yeah. Sub hundreds.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to see him in Portland
Okay, next to Klingon.
next to Klingon
I like that.
because the thing with me is he doesn't have to be a huge 3-point shooter next to Klingon
Right.
because Klingon can stretch the floor and he stretches it well. So you can let Klingon be outside more so he's already, you can let him be more of a rim protector as well playing like that. And you can let Bam be down low.
Because Bam has a great. I mean, Bam's got an underrated drive game, underrated playmaking. When he does drive, I mean, he can play.
Exactly. That's where I think that's a place I think he would excel in. It's
I like
Portland. The third would be Charlotte.
Ooh.
I think
that
he
would hurt me though so bad.
It would hurt you, but I think he fits what Charlotte's doing. Charlotte likes to get out fast. They like to shoot a ton of threes in transition, especially. The thing that I think would help it is they do love to play in pick and roll, and him and LaMelo pick and roll. I think also LaMelo's playmaking would help him a ton.
Mm-hmm.
It would open Bam up a lot more because Bam also. Nobody wants to comment on this about his scoring. He's never had a real point guard.
Never. Best playmaker he's played with is Jimmy Butler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Him having to create most of his offense doesn't help.
Right.
If he had somebody that can make it easier for him and create some offense for him, we would talk about him offensively a lot more. But
I agree with that.
I'll say that. Yeah, I think those three teams are like very glaring that I'd be like, Bam would be amazing
Heck
in
yeah.
those three spots to me.
All right, Ben. I have derailed it for far too long for a 10 seed.
That's fine. I like talking a little
Talk.
heat.
No, I appreciate it. I just, talk a little bit because we're definitely not going to be talking about them later.
Hey, they're a playoff team. They're
That's
they're in the
why
plan.
that's why I knew
Yeah.
I could because we're in the discussion. All right, we didn't really break down the 1 and 2 seed like you did in the other conference. So if you want to do that first, and then you can go into that 3 through 6 like you did. Well, we're already concrete in the East, so you could break down those 1 through 8, those 4 matchups if you'd like.
Yeah. So if it's Charlotte's looking to play Detroit because I'll say this: I think Charlotte genuinely believes they would beat Detroit in a playoff series. I think Charlotte themselves believe that. Do I believe that? I don't know. I think Charlotte would make a run at Detroit, though.
Real quick, did you see Doc Rivers got fired?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know if it was even news. That's why I was like, yeah. I thought it was obvious
I haven't-
that it was going to happen.
Well, I didn't. I meant to text like a week ago about it. I heard a little rumors about Doc leaving.
I saw him complaining again in the media, so I figured he was gone.
Yeah. I knew he was gone. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I think the Bucks were firing him either way.
that's what I thought. So that's why I was like, I don't even know if it's really news.
Adrian Griffin's money's off their books, and that was pretty much the only reason Doc was still around.
There you go. Yeah, so they're getting
Yeah.
him on, yeah.
Yeah, the Bucks did not think highly of him, but yeah, I think Charlotte really believes they could beat Detroit in a playoff series. The big concern I have with Detroit going into the playoffs is who is scoring the ball outside of Cade. Jalen Duren's offense has taken a major leap this year, which is good to see. He still doesn't create a huge amount of his own offense. He has shown, though, in stretches without Cade this year that he still can put up numbers. So I'm not overly concerned about that part, if you were to say. I just don't think Detroit has any other real on-ball creators outside of Danish Jenkins. But I don't know how much you're playing Danish Jenkins, because that means you want to play Cade off-ball. Cade isn't exactly an amazing off-ball player. He's not a huge catch-and-shoot guy. He's also, I mean, he's your best playmaker as well. So you don't want him off-ball a ton. That's just something that's been bothered me about Detroit going into the playoffs this year. Just their secondary scoring. Especially if Tobias Harris is not going. Because that's really Tobias Harris's role. He needs to be that secondary shot creator. And if he's not going, it can start to get really tough for Detroit. Especially against a team like Charlotte that can, with 3-point variance, they could outshoot them real quickly, and a 5-point game could turn into 20.
Yeah.
Just like that for a team like Detroit. So that's a big concern, but that defense should. That defense is going to take them places.
Mm-hmm.
Cade has been really good defensively. Duncan Robinson's not as bad as defender as I remember.
He tries. He just doesn't have the athleticism is the problem, but he
See, that's
tries.
what I was gonna say. I thought Duncan was decent defensively this year. So, and if you get decent out of Duncan, going pretty well. And then, you throw Asor, the best wing defender on the planet to me. Tobias is still a solid defender. And then Duren's been a very improved defender. You just have a hard time scoring against the Detroit team, which is probably Charlotte's big issue in that series will be 2-point scoring. They already have a big problem with their 2-point scoring outside of Bridges. Miles is the only one that consistently can get them to the rim, which is why I also want to throw this in. That's one of the big reasons why I wanted to see Charlotte play New York in the opening round. I thought Charlotte had a lot of ways to exploit New York's defensively because of Miles Bridges. How they could use him in the short roll and in the dunker spot with limited rim protection from Cat. It could have really helped their 3-point shooting. But yeah, Miles being the only one that can really consistently get consistent good 2-point shots is going to be a concern. Brandon Miller's not. I'll say he's been a lot better of a creator than what he had shown his first 2 years. But I'm still not overly high on his on-ball creation, especially getting to the rim. I think that will be a... LaMelo's 2-point scoring has taken a little bit of a leap the past month and a half. So maybe he can keep that up. But other than that, their 2-point scoring just isn't... It's scary to me.
Yeah.
Their defense doesn't concern me in the playoffs, though. I'll say that LaMelo defends. I'm saying that now. He plays defense, people. Watch him.
Yeah.
If we go to the 2-7 matchup, I guess your only concern with Boston is just what level of Jason Tatum shows up. I don't have like Boston's probably my favorite in the East. If I had to pick somebody, just top to bottom, they're just so they're deep. They have shooting. They can defend really well. They rebound, especially they offensive rebound really well. Like they have it all. They got depth scoring. They got good bench pieces. I mean, like Baylor Shireman just had 30 tonight against the Magic. They beat them.
I did see that they won.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So that also, by the way, that means the playing game will be in Philly, not Orlando.
I did see that it changed. Yeah.
Yeah, because Orlando lost.
Yeah.
So
Changes it a bit.
good job, Orlando.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what with Orlando. But Orlando has a plethora of problems. I kind of already went over it with them, but in a series against Boston, they really got to shoot the 3.
Yeah.
And they don't get good, consistent looks from 3. It's been a problem with their offense for years. Like, they've gone the past 2 years thinking that they need shooting in the offense. I think the big problem has been Jamal Mosley's offense doesn't create good 3-point looks. I think that's just the biggest issue. I don't think it's that they don't have good shooters. I don't think the offense generates good 3-point looks. And when you're playing a team like Boston, who's going to put them up, even on an off night for Boston, if they still hit 10 threes in a game, that still might be more than Orlando.
Yeah.
So, with Orlando, it's just I'll just make this. They got to shoot the 3 in that series. They got to. So Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Franz.
Yeah.
Franz, you got to shoot, buddy. Paolo. I mean, I don't really want you shooting a bunch of 3s, but you better make the ones you do shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Wendell. I prefer if you weren't on the floor, but you're gonna be, so.
Dang, you must have
They're
fallen.
just, yeah. Wendell. Don't get me started with Wendell. I'm not a fan. Fake stretch 5. Fake stretch 5. Fake stretch 5. Does not actually stretch the floor at all.
All right, so
The defense keeps them out here, and they leave.
you want to Break down a little Cavs
3-6.
Raptors or 3-6. No, my apologies. 3-6. Let's go. Let's go Knicks Hawks.
Hawks.
Yes, sir.
Probably the most intriguing playoff series
I agree.
that I think we're gonna have.
First round.
Who'd you pick? I want to hear who you'd pick first.
Me.
Yeah.
I would probably go Knicks in 6 or 7. I think it's a
That's
longer series.
kind
I
of
think
where
the
I'm
Hawks
at.
grab a
But
couple.
like, there's a world where I could see Atlanta like dominating that series.
Yeah, if like they're like able to take like Cat off his game. I mean, I know Cat hasn't been like elite all year, but if they really are able to take him off his game and Brunson can't hit his threes, then I know he
I
doesn't
think
always shoot threes, but
Atlanta as fast as they play too. If they keep up how they play in transition and going into the playoffs,
yeah,
I think that might hurt the Knicks.
they definitely could.
I think the Knicks like to play a little slower pace of the game. They don't want to get out there and run all game.
Yeah, not too much.
They can, but that's not how Brunson likes to play, especially.
Right.
Brunson wants to kind of get into his little ISO, wants a little screen action. Yeah, Atlanta could really push New York. To me,
I agree.
Jalen Johnson, I think is going to give New York a ton of fits. OG is probably who will be on him, but I still think Jalen Johnson's playmaking is just going to be a hassle for New York to me, especially when you get Nikhil and CJ's 3-point shooting. It's going to be tough because here's the issue with New York. Brunson has to be on somebody in that. And the Hawks don't exactly have anybody that can't dribble, pass. I'll just say dribble and pass because Dyson can't shoot. But if you're going to have Brunson on Dyson Daniels, then you just put Dyson Daniels in the dunker spot.
100%.
And you're making Cat rotate off whoever he's on. Which most likely would be Okongwu. And Okongwu can just let it spray from 3 all game then. And you're just... I think this series creates a lot of problems for Brunson. Defensively. And also Cat. Because Cat needs to play near the rim for this series. Because like I said, Brunson's going to have to guard somebody.
Yeah.
And I would expect it to be CJ. And if that's your matchup, CJ's going to be able to get downhill on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're going to be forced to play Mitchell Robinson more. What are you doing with Josh Hart offensively if you're the Knicks? Are you going to let him just chuck threes that teams are going to let him shoot? Because I don't imagine Atlanta's going to put anybody on him out there. Nobody has all year, so why would Atlanta start? Can the Knicks defense also stay as good as it's been because of Cat and Brunson in the playoffs? Like, Cat and Brunson are pretty much those are your X factors. Also, Mikal's defense is fake. Mikal is not a stopper. He's not some real... Yeah, Mikal's defense has been fake since 23.
Wow.
So, Mikal's not no stopper. I'm not exactly... I think Nikhil's going to get off against him. But it's just... The Knicks need to find something to cover... Not really cover, but just lighten the blow of Cat and Brunson being as bad defensively as they are. Because in this series, it's like the example I brought up with the Hornets. In a series against Charlotte, the Knicks would end up having either they would most likely have to have Brunson on either Con Knipple or Miles Bridges. And if that's who Brunson has to guard, Example, Miles Bridges. You're going to let Miles Bridges play in the box or near the nail and let him play bully ball. And you're going to force Cat to help, and Miles Bridges is going to make a read. Which it's going to be an easy read every time. And I think you're going to create that same situation with Dyson Daniels in the Atlanta series, because you're going to want Mikal most likely is going to be on either one of Nikhil or CJ. You're going to most likely have OG on Jalen Johnson because of the size.
Yeah.
And if you're going to start Josh Hart, which I don't think Josh Hart is a very good defender. He's a hustle player, but I don't think his defense is very good. People think he's versatile, but like, just because you're versatile doesn't mean you're good. Just because you can defend a big doesn't make you a good defender. As a 6'4" guard, I'm not a huge Josh Hart, so he's gonna have to play on one of CJ or Nikhil. So you're leaving Brunson with Dyson, and Dyson can. It's like the Bridges example. Dyson can play bully ball on him, and you just create such a mismatch where you need Cat to be in rotation because he's going to have to be your rim protector, or you have Josh Hart as a low man, and you're pretty much sacrificing any rim protection. And also, I think you're going to, like, for Atlanta's case, with as fast as they play, they can get Cat into foul trouble very easily.
Yeah, they could.
And that's been a big struggle for Cat in a playoff setting. He can't stay out of foul trouble.
True.
So to me, Atlanta just has a lot of avenues in this series to come out of it on top. I just think matchup wise, for Atlanta, this series is probably what they wanted.
Yeah.
Not realizing that they sat all their starters today, they were probably looking at the Knicks over Cleveland. Which, I guess that will take us into the 4-5 of Cleveland, Toronto.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton to say about this series because I think Cleveland's gonna sweep Toronto.
I got them in 5.
Yeah, I'm not really. Shout out to Toronto for getting the 5 seed, I guess.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I don't know. That offense just isn't very good to me. Who is shooting the ball from 3 for Toronto in this series?
3.
Like, I don't know. How are they going to keep up offensively, even if their defense is good? I don't know. There's just like, I never was very high on Toronto to begin with. I think their defense got them a lot of games this year. I think their defense just kind of kept them a little bit afloat. When you have to play a team as loaded as Cleveland is, I don't think they have much of a chance. Scotty Barnes' offense is a real concern for me in the playoffs, too. I don't know what it is. He just hasn't... Since his rookie year, when they made the playoffs, he averaged like 23 in the playoffs next to Siakam. Since then, his scoring just... Each year, it's just decreased. And his shooting just fell off. And it's just kind of like, all right. What do you do with Scotty in a playoff setting offensively? Is he going to bring the ball up the court and initiate offense? Because he's shown that he's a really good playmaker. Do you trust him in a half-court setting with somebody's best perimeter defender hounding him? Mm-hmm. Do you put him in a dunker spot and limit his role offensively. But it's just what do you do with him? Especially against a team like Cleveland, where they have the guys to disrupt Scotty offensively. Evan Mobley can move his feet well enough to stay with Scotty. Jalen Tyson.
Yeah.
He's looked good. Strus is back. I think Cleveland's just way too deep to even be dealt with by Toronto. Toronto has nothing off the bench, really.
Yeah.
They have Colin Boyles and Mama Kelly. Whatever. They don't have a point guard off the bench, really. It's just, I don't know. Toronto's roster is a little rough to me. I think a lot of their success this season was just based on Scotty Barnes and their defense.
Yeah.
I don't really see them going anywhere. As for Cleveland, they're the dark horse over in the East. I'm gonna name you. I'm gonna just name you this roster because this is a team that genuinely can go 12 deep in a playoff series if they wanted to. So your starting five most likely is going to be some combination. It's going to be Harden, Mitchell. I don't know who's going to play the three for them. It changes. It might be Strus. It might be Dean Wade. It might be Tyson. It might be Sam Merrill.
Wow.
Literally don't know. Then you get Mobley, Allen. Like I just said, some of those. So Craig Porter Jr., good point guard off the bench. Yeah. I said Sam Merrill, Tyson, Dean Wade, Thomas Bryant. There's 10 guys already. And those aren't like borderline, like, oh yeah, you could throw them in for a couple minutes in a playoff game. No, those are all like rotation guys.
Yeah, like they're part of the squad.
They all. What? 4 of those guys could start. On just depending on who you like, what you need for that night. Mm-hmm. I think Cleveland just has the deepest team in the East, which could be very helpful because I think a lot of teams in the East can't go very deep into their bench in a playoff setting. Like example, Detroit. Detroit can't go very deep into their bench because I just don't think they have the bench talent for it. They can go Dennis Jenkins, Karis LeVert, Ron Howard, Paul Reed. After that, it's like, do you want to play Marcus Sasser? Not really. Is Kevin Huerter really an option in the playoffs? No. The Knicks case, they can go McBride. The other kid they have, Hockey Pierre. I can't say his name. I'm just calling him Hook. Fuck it. We'll call him Hook. Hook could play, and then Mitchell Robinson. After that, it's like, how much do you want to play Jordan Clarkson? Tyler Kolek kind of sucks, but he might play some. It's just kind of Diawara as well for the Knicks can play. But yeah, a lot of these teams just can't go very deep like Cleveland can to me. And Cleveland, especially in the Eastern Conference, when you could just throw out, 20 different combination of lineups at teams, especially a team like, let's say, Detroit, where they can't switch up that lineup a lot. Like, what Detroit does is what they do. There's not a ton of different ways they can play basketball. I think Cleveland has that luxury of like, okay, we want to go small and, we want to shoot the hell out of the ball. Here you go. We'll go Mitchell, Harden, Strus, Merrill, Dean Wade. We'll go with that. Or they want to go ultra big. They can throw Dean Wade at the 3 and have Mobley and Allen in. They want to go super defensive. Jalen Tyson can slide to the 2. Like there's just so many things Cleveland can do lineup wise that a lot of other teams can't do, which can really shock teams, I think, and make them a dark horse over there in the East.
Yeah. No, I back that. I think they're also the dark horse. I think they have, in my estimation, the second best chances of coming out.
Oh, people are gonna hate me for this, but big fuck Toronto. I'm genuinely kind of mad that they're the 5 seed. Much rather would have watched Orlando versus Cleveland or let Charlotte get all the way up there. I don't want to watch the Raptors lose in 4. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
They're not very fun to watch as well.
That's definitely fair. All right, let's close it out with our little
Prediction?
yeah quick predictions. I'll go first.
Well, here
I'll probably be.
you go first. Let me ask. I'll go through.
Okay.
So do we want to assume like Phoenix and Portland win the play-in,
We
and
did our
then
play-in predictions, so we'll go with our predictions from that. Yeah.
we have the same, right?
Yes.
So you're 1 versus 8 over in the West. We'll start West.
Thunder and 4.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think I have to mention who they
Yeah.
play. It doesn't matter. Spurs Suns.
Spurs in. I'll go 5. It's either 5 or
Okay.
6. I'll go 5.
Then we'll go. We'll stick with what the 4-5 matchup is for now.
Okay.
Lakers
yeah,
Rock.
that's the question, but we'll go with that.
Yeah, because I think it's gonna stay this way.
Lakers Rockets.
Yeah, it's a pretty close series there.
Dude, I'm just so biased. It's hard for me not to believe that LeBron doesn't have at least some level of greatness to not to win it all by himself, but to at least get a game or two to get Luka back and then Reeves. But I'm gonna go with my head, not my heart. I'm gonna go Rockets in 6.
Minnesota, Denver.
I'm gonna go. Ooh, this is such a good series. Holy cow! This is the best first round series, by the way. My bad. The other one was the best first round series in the East.
Yeah,
This is the best
the
first round series
3-6
overall. Yeah, this
the
is
3-6 are great.
yeah, 3-6s are good. Let's go. Shit. I don't know. I'm gonna go Minnesota in 7.
I like that. I like that.
It's a damn good.
We'll go over to the East. Pistons, Hornets.
Let's go. Let's go Pistons in 6.
Celtics, Magic.
Season 5. Celtics in 5.
Yeah, that's pretty easy too. Knicks, Hawks. The elder.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go. I had previously said it, but gonna go Knicks in 7 because you kind of convinced me that the Hawks are gonna really give them problems. So I'll go Knicks in 7.
And then we get Cleveland, Toronto.
I'm gonna go Cleveland in 5. I'm giving them a game. I don't know if I should, but
You're real generous for giving Toronto a
RJ Barrett's
game.
my guy, man. I hope he gets like some sort of legendary game. He
Yeah,
won't.
really be helpful if he, started showing some good offense.
Yeah.
Be helpful. So based on that, so we'll go West. We would have Thunder, Rocket.
Thunder in it's either 5 or 6. I'll go 5. Thunder in 5.
Thunder, yeah. Timberwolves, Spurs.
Shoot, another good series. Holy cow. Oh, man.
I'm not gonna lie, that to me that has potential. Like if that playoff series happened in the second round, that had potential to be like the best playoff series so far this decade.
Yeah.
Like it'd be up there with the Wolves Nuggets series from 24.
Yeah, that was so good. That's why I'm saying this first round matchup's gonna be freaking good again.
I know. I love watching that series. Like I love watching those two play.
Let's go. Let's go Spurs in 7. I'm gonna bank on Wemby being that great. That's what
That
I'm gonna
great?
bank on. That's what I'm gonna bank on.
Okay. So in the East, then, what Detroit and Cleveland would be your next matchup in the East. That's a good matchup.
That is. I'm gonna go Cleveland in 6. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cleveland in 6. That's a tough one though.
Okay. Okay, so then you get Celtics Knicks rematch from last year.
Yeah. I don't. This will prove that, or this will show that my finals prediction is going to be different. I have the Celtics in 6. I do see the Knicks giving them problems again.
Once we do our playoff prediction, that's when your final prediction finally changes.
Yeah,
You're seeing
I
it now
know.
with Boston.
I'm gonna stand on. I'm gonna stand on the Knicks losing. I don't really. I'm just, I'm not. Obviously, I'm not like a Knicks fan or anything. I was really believing on it earlier, but like, I don't know if anything necessarily changed my mind like per se, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to really like, because everything was firing on all cylinders against the Celtics, and the Celtics really were. They were having some real bad luck, so they're gonna have to. If they can do that again, then maybe they just have their number. But I'm gonna go Celtics in 6.
So then you lead to your conference final. So in the West, you would have the Thunder versus the Spurs.
I think this is gonna be really good. Uh, I I think I'm gonna probably be wrong, and I'm gonna go out on a limb again. I think the Spurs are gonna win in 7.
At least you're sticking with them.
Yeah,
You're sticking with
I think they're gonna win in 7. I think Wemby's just, and I hate to keep saying I think he's just that great. But I think he's gonna elevate his play in the playoffs, and I don't think there's anyone who's gonna be able to guard him. Like you just
Guard him,
can't
yeah.
guard him. Even Chet, he's just not. He's gonna be the closest guy probably, just based on like dimensions.
by Wemby a couple times
That's
this
what I'm
year.
saying. Wemby's already torched him, so he's gonna probably
Yeah, I
torch
was
him
gonna say,
again.
that's not a great matchup for Chet.
And what's scary, obviously, is Shea. Shea is not. Nobody's touching Shea. So I'm betting on Wemby being that level, and that's obviously quite the bet. But that's the bet I'm willing to make.
I'd be willing to make it as well. Not gonna lie. And then in the East Conference Finals, you get Cleveland, Boston. That would be a fun one to watch this year.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be a great series.
Cow. I'm gonna maybe sound stupid, and Cavs fans are gonna hate me. I got the Celtics in. I got the Celtics in 5. I'm gonna bet on James Harden doing what he does.
Shitting out in the playoffs. I said it. The further you get in the playoffs with James Harden, the scarier it gets.
That's why I'm nervous. I honestly, if you want to hear who I would like to win, I would like for the Cavs to win.
Yeah.
But am I gonna bet on Harden being what he needs to be to beat the Celtics? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna make that bet. I made that bet how many years in a row, and it's never worked out.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
James Harden's not the player to exactly bet on in the playoffs, but
Right.
I will say this is the first time I think he's had a score that is better than him on the same team going into the playoffs.
Well,
I think at this point,
but there was injuries with that team.
yeah, there was injuries, and he was injured himself.
Right, exactly. So that's fair.
So I just kind of don't. I don't really include the Nets' tenure as part because it was just such a tragedy how all that
Durant's
playoffs.
foot was
Yeah.
just an inch
Yeah.
away.
Exactly. But yeah, I think this is the first time really in his career outside of Brooklyn. Let's just say
Yeah. No, I agree with
he
you.
had a score better than him going into the playoffs on his team. So I'm intrigued to see how that works. Looks because even if he comes out and has, he has one of his shitters, can Donovan Mitchell take that load off? And this is just overall the best team he's been on, I think, which is going to be really helpful because I I think he's in a position where he doesn't need to be the bucket getter that he's been during the regular season to still be effective in the playoffs. I think as long as he still is a good playmaker and gets in the passing lanes on D, I won't even say anything else defensively, just gets in the passing lanes.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a positive, and I don't think we'll be, harping on him as bad as we have.
That's fair. And then
But I do see where you're coming from with that. It's like
I gotta do my final prediction.
he
I
is
forgot.
showing.
I almost moved on. Whoops.
Your finals.
Okay.
Yep.
This is
Spurs, Celtics. That's interesting.
I think this would be a real fun finals. Back and forth, adjustments made. Game plans.
Joe Mazzulla versus Mitch Johnson
It's fun.
would be fantastic to
Good,
see.
good,
Yeah,
good bit of fun. I would be very unhappy with this as a Heat fan. Nobody gives a shit though. I'll take the Celtics in 6. And simply because, and I don't think anybody on the Spurs is necessarily, well, I shouldn't say anybody on the Spurs. I'm kind of betting on this. If I'm going to take the Celtics, I'm going to bet on a couple players on the Spurs to kind of shrink a little bit. I don't think Wemby's going to shrink. I think, and I'm not going to label, names because then it'll sound like I think they're going to freaking choke. But I think maybe a couple of the young guys on the Spurs won't quite be there in the finals like they were earlier in the playoffs because it is a bit of a different stage. Just a bit of a different stage,
Mazzulla, if there's any coach that can slow down Wemby,
Yeah, because he'll give him a bunch of different looks.
yeah, I think Mazzulla would be the one to figure it out.
I agree with that. All right.
So you have the Celtics over the Spurs. Interesting.
All right. Well, I'll pitch it to you the way you pitched it to me. So we'll go down the list here. We got in the West, Thunder Trailblazers.
Thunder in 5.
Yeah, not much to say about that.
Yeah.
Spurs.
Oh, the only
sorry.
thing I'll say is Portland has. I do know they do have a win over the Thunder early in the year, and that was the only time they were fully healthy against them.
Maybe they can grab a game.
Yeah, so I'm wondering. I am a little intrigued to see how it matches up fully healthy because I do like the Blazers starting line.
And usually the first game in those series are the ones that are the competitive one. So that one
Yeah.
should be fun.
Hopefully, yeah, the Blazers want to take one. I think game 1, take it.
All right. 2-7 seed matchup. We got the Spurs and the Suns.
I'll go Spurs in 6.
Ooh,
I think the Suns will give them some fits,
that's fair.
especially in a lot of those kids' first playoff series.
It is, and that's why I'm taking
Antonio.
a massive leap, man.
I mean, De'Aaron Fox, he's been to the playoffs before, but I mean, he has
Hasn't
8
really-
playoff games under his belt. Yeah, not a ton, exactly. So
Yeah. All right. 3-6 matchup. As of what we're just gonna go with what it is, what we believe it'll be.
yeah, right now.
Got Nuggets Timberwolves.
Well, just speaking on that, by the way, the Nuggets are up 20 on the Spurs right now. Anyway,
So what would that change?
Nothing. That'd
Oh.
make it be this way. Yeah,
That'll lock it in.
exactly.
Okay, cool. So yeah,
I'll lock it in right now. So
probably what it is then.
yeah, we're good. So you said the 3-6 of Minnesota, Denver,
Yes, sir.
Minnesota in 6.
We got them in 6. Okay.
I do. Ant-Man in the playoffs is just,
Baller.
and I think there's just ways Minnesota exploits Denver. I don't know. I don't like that matchup for Denver.
Mhm.
I haven't since 23.
It's their worst one. I'd agree.
Yeah, it's definitely their worst matchup. But yeah, I'll take Minnesota at 6.
All right, gotcha. We'll go 4-5 matchup. Last of the West first rounders. Lakers Rockets.
It really depends when Luka comes back.
That's big.
If he's back to start the series, I think I think this is a lot better of a series than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Rockets don't like to play to their full potential a lot.
LeBron,
So
KD.
that's going to be fun, too.
Should be a good bit of fun for the old heads like us.
Fun there. I'll take Houston in 6.
Okay, I think
I don't. Even with Luka back, I'm not really sure how much of a chance LA has in a playoff setting.
Mhm.
Their roster is so bad outside their big three.
I agree. It's not great.
Yeah, Bronny James might actually get playoff minutes, so yeah.
Yeah.
I watched him get ripped 3 straight times by Case and Wallace.
Oh man.
Yeah. Gosh.
Not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going on to the East, the 1-8 matchup. I know you'll be very much tuned in for this. What we would have is the 1-8 matchup. Pistons Hornets.
I would watch every single second of that series.
Yeah.
I promise. I will watch every second. But I'll take Detroit in 7.
Ooh, 7. Come on.
I think Charlotte's actually going to give them a run for their money.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
I think it's going to take. Cade's still not like. I've been seeing his scoring's still not under his feet yet. So going into the playoffs slumping a little bit scoring wise isn't always great.
I agree.
So it might take Cade a little. Yeah, I think Charlotte can, shock early on in the series.
Maybe go up 2-1 or something. I feel you.
Yeah, get a nice little 2-1 lead or something.
I feel that. All right. Let's go 2-7 matchup. Celtics Magic.
I'll go Celtics in 6.
Okay.
I don't think Boston's going to be overly pressed to be, here you go, Tatum, play 38 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you get us the game. I don't think they're going to be overly pressed to do that in the first round. So I think Orlando might be able to squeak out a couple victories because of that.
Okay, heck yeah. Let's go 3-6 matchup. Knicks Hawks.
The end of Karl Anthony Towns in a New York Knicks jersey will be because of the series, because Atlanta will win in 6.
Okay. You got both 6 seeds winning.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's going to pretty much cause a pretty big domino effect there in New York.
Yeah, I could see it.
I think a first round exit's going to trigger some changes there.
That's
and
bad.
I think Cat is going to be the finger to point to.
Yeah, they'll for sure point it at him.
Whether it's fair or not.
I agree with that. Yeah,
I think Cat will be scapegoat there.
Yeah. All right. That's definitely possible with the way you broke it down. Honestly, before this, I would have said that's a little bit of a hot take, but I don't think that's a hot take.
Yeah, but I think people have to think about like the Brunson Cat thing.
Yeah.
Because as gifted as they are offensively, against certain teams in the playoffs, like Atlanta, who just wants to run fast, move in transition, it's a huge problem.
I agree with that.
Because you usually with a team like Atlanta that wants to run fast, you want to get them into a half court set because it's just they're not as effective in that. But with New York having 2 bad defenders, it's almost as if, hey, we don't want to let teams get into half court sets because we have to set our defense to be, funneled around Cat and Brunson.
I agree.
Now you got OG and Mikal running around covering. It's just, I don't know. That duo just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, the Knicks definitely wanted the Raptors out of that. Let's just say that. All right.
Everybody, the
Oh, yeah,
Raptors.
exactly. And here, a little quick one for you because I know how you feel about it. Cavs Raptors, 4-5 seed.
Cavs in 3.
Cavs in 3. Oh, they're just gonna quit.
Yeah, the Raptors should just forfeit the series.
The fourth. It's so much. Oh, that's what the Heat should have done last year with how bad they got blown up by the Cavs.
I don't think the Raptors are like this awful team. Like, I like Scotty. I think Scotty's cool. I think their roster construction sucks ass. I think Emmanuel Quickly he's but you pay him 170 million, so
Certainly don't think
he needs to play a lot better.
better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's for 170 million. I think he's really bad for 170 million. RJ Barrett just hasn't been he just hasn't figured it out there. I'm not huge on Brandon Ingram. Especially in a playoff setting. I mean, Brandon Ingram's he's just going to hit a bunch of turnaround middies over you. That's about it. That's all he's really going to give you. And then Jakob Poeltl's their starting center. And Jakob Poeltl in the big 2026? Yeah, all right, I'm good.
Yeah,
I don't think their roster is good.
I feel you.
I just think they overachieved for what they are. And a lot of it's because of Scotty Barnes.
I feel you. All right. Moving back over to the West, second round. Got the Thunder and the Rockets. How do you feel about that one?
I'm going to say it's going to be Thunder in 6, I think.
Oh, wow.
But don't be surprised if the Rockets' offensive rebounding gives the Thunder some trouble. I remember the first game of the year they played, I mean, Steven Adams was healthy. So, that's a big deal. Because Steven Adams, best offensive rebounder in basketball.
Yeah.
But they still are the best offensive rebounding team in the league. And I think you can get underneath Chet and Hartenstein
Yeah.
a little bit. And OKC likes to stagger them more in the playoffs, which is helpful because, like, Houston could go run a lineup out there of Clint and Alperen Sengun and have KD at the 3, and now you're just overpowering them with size. But I think OKC is just a little too much for them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think the Rockets' offense is good enough.
Okay. We got the next matchup in the West, Spurs Timberwolves.
I'm sticking with the Timberwolves here. I'll go 6.
No, I don't know ball. All right, continue.
Well, I'm just a little more indifferent on Minnesota. Like, I'm a lot higher on Minnesota in a playoff setting than most people are.
That's fair.
But I also think there's matchup problems that Minnesota can present to Spurs, especially with Wemby.
That's fair.
Like, Jaden McDaniels is a real defender.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
If they're gonna throw him on Wemby, I think there's some issue because you let Gobert be a roamer in that series.
Who do they have that can't shoot though for the Spurs?
That's the problem. Minnesota has to shoot with it, and if I'm Minnesota, it's De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I'm letting him shoot if he's the one.
De'Aaron Fox showed me he could shoot because he has not shot the 3 well this year.
I think maybe they played some guys.
And if you remember in the Golden State series years back when he was with the Kings, Golden State went under every screen and dared him to shoot off the dribble. And he did not have a very good shooting series. He knocked some threes down, but he was taking 10 a game. He was just settling for them. Yeah, he was settling for those threes in that series. So I think Minnesota has a way that you can kind of make their guards settle for off the dribble threes. Castle's not the greatest off the dribble shooter either. Dylan Harper also isn't the greatest off the dribble. Like they don't have any guards outside of Champagnie that can shoot off the dribble. And I mean, Champagnie doesn't really shoot off the dribble much.
Fuck you. So
they have ways. Minnesota has ways to beat them, but also San Antonio also has ways because their guards getting downhill Minnesota doesn't have much to defend. If Anthony Edwards isn't going to play any defense
Yeah,
like he
true.
hasn't been all year, then they're going to relentlessly get downhill. It's going to be up to Gobert to fucking do everything.
Right. So I think that's going to be an awesome series. I can't wait. I hope that's what
Yeah, it's
happens.
a fun one.
I hope that's what happens. Um,
I do.
all right, let's kick it over to the East. You got Pistons, Cavs. How do you see that one?
I'll go Detroit in 7.
Ooh, okay.
I don't really have much reasoning on it.
That's fair. You can just pick.
I just feel Cade will just come out ahead.
Yeah.
If there's anything to look at in that series, it'd probably be who does Asar guard?
Oh yeah, pick your poison.
I'm not sure if he'll check Donovan Mitchell and just take away Mitchell's scoring, and they'll have Cade deal with Harden, or if they'll try and make Harden be an off-ball guard and throw a Asar on him. Which, if I was Detroit, I would probably make Harden be more of an off-ball guard and make Mitchell be more of a playmaker. I think that's what would make Cleveland struggle more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just going to be a super entertaining series.
Yeah, that should be a.
I just think Cade will just come out on top.
That's fair. I think he's got the talent for sure, so it's definitely possible. The other matchup in the East, you got Celtics Hawks. How do you feel about that one?
It's kind of tough to me because, like, they play opposite brands of basketball. Atlanta wants to get out in transition and run and just get out, get the misses, get out there fast. Mm-hmm. Boston wants to slow the game down and chuck a bunch of threes.
Right.
So in this, like, I've been back and forth because Atlanta, if you try and keep up with Atlanta, you're not, especially as Boston, you're not going to.
Yeah.
If you're Atlanta, if you try and shoot it out with Boston, you're gonna lose. Mm. I'm going Atlanta with the upset.
Oh, whoa!
I think Atlanta could upset Boston in 6.
Whoa!
Atlanta has ways to take Jaylen Brown out of the series, and that's a little concerning because Derek White hasn't been a great 2-point scorer this year, and you don't want to rely on Jason Tatum for all your scoring.
Yeah, not all.
Especially because he'll see Dyson Daniels.
Yeah.
Most of the series. But I think Atlanta's defense is going to surprise some people in the playoffs. Because Nikhil really turns it up defensively in the playoffs. Dyson Daniels as a defender in the playoffs is going to be fun to see. Jalen Johnson can play some defense when he wants to. We'll see if he wants to.
Yeah.
I just think, and Quinn Snyder's a good coach. I think he can dial up a lot. Yeah. Boston just kind of, I don't know if they're ready for that next push.
Yeah.
I think Tatum coming back, I don't think it messed with their chemistry, but.
Wow. All right. Well,
they're still trying to I think they're still in a phase of trying to figure it out.
Yeah. 2 quick things. As an Atlanta hater, that is terrifying that you have them in the conference finals and they're going to have a top 5 freaking pick, probably. Terrifying. And then also you said that I don't know ball, essentially. You said both your finals picks are losing in the second round, so fuck you.
That's how close I think. I mean, that's just how close it is.
I'm just trolling you. All right. Western Conference Finals, Thunder Timberwolves. That would be another fun series because I believe they played last year. That would be a lot of fun. So here we go. How do you see it?
I'm going with a fun finals this year. Minnesota is going to get their revenge.
Ooh, I would love to see that.
I think Minnesota can get their revenge. Minnesota's played. I think they beat OKC twice this year. They beat them once in OKC, and then they beat them once in Minnesota. And both of those wins, McDaniels was huge. I don't think it's more so of is Gobert going to be able to play offensively in this series? I don't think it's going to be that kind of series. I think this series is going to be more focused on two specific players, J-Dub and Julius Randle.
Yeah.
J-Dub needs to get back to how he was last year. That's kind of my main gripe with the Thunder against Minnesota is if J-Dub is going to look how he's looked this year, I don't think they can get past Minnesota then. If J-Dub can get back to what he was looking like in the playoffs last year, they beat Minnesota in 5. And they're probably winning back-to-back titles. But I just don't see J-Dub getting back to that this year. He's just been nagged by too many injuries, and he really hasn't shot the ball well when he's been healthy.
That's fair.
Give me Minnesota
Gotcha.
to upset.
Wow. All right. Eastern Conference Finals. I have a feeling I know who you're gonna pick. Pistons versus Hawks.
Pistons in 6.
Okay, no, I was wrong. All right.
I don't think Jalen Johnson's there as a scorer yet,
Yeah.
like Cade is.
That's fair.
I think that would be the big. When you play somebody defensively as good as Detroit is, you need to have that star. I think you need to have that real star number one option to kind of get you over the hump there, and Atlanta doesn't have that yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe they'll get it in this draft, but I'm not expecting CJ McCollum to go out there and average 25 a game against Detroit.
Yeah, that'd be quite the
Lead me to the final. Yeah, that'd be. If that happens, I mean Atlanta's winning it all then. But
Yeah, true. All right. You do have a fun
I'm good.
finals. I agree. Timberwolves Pistons. How do you see this? How do you see this one playing out?
Minnesota. I think Minnesota takes out Detroit. I think it'll go 7 though. If it's shaped up like this. This series would be like really fun to see because it's a little similarity of brands of basketball. Both teams have, dominant guards, Cade, Ant. Both teams have some good scoring bigs, Julius, Duran. Have some really good defending wings, Asar, McDaniels. Some good shooting guards, some real good shooting guys too. Duncan, DiVincenzo. I just think the matchup in this series would be really fun. The question then, of course, becomes again who's scoring the ball for Detroit outside of Cade. Mm-hmm. Especially because Duran could get shut down in a series against Gobert. Especially because Gobert does not have to get out to the perimeter as much unless you're letting him switch on to Cade. You get Gobert closer to the rim most of the series, which could affect Duran. And then on Minnesota side, I mean, just Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Julius Randle's their big X factor. If he plays well, they win the finals. If he doesn't, they're going home in round 2.
I agree.
But that's what makes these playoffs so much fun this year.
This should be a blast again. Last year was awesome. This year should
Like you were trying to say, like I was trying to tell you, you don't know ball. Like I could. There's 8 contenders, I think, this year that could really win a ship. Like you go to the West, it's OKC, Minnesota, Denver, San Antonio.
Yeah.
I think all 4 of those teams could win a ship this year. Over in the East, Detroit, New York, Cleveland, Boston, all could get it. They could all make it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
So it's really just matchup dependent and just who gets hot at the right time this year. And that's why I'm so big in Atlanta, because Atlanta's been hot.
True. And that does matter.
And I think a lot of the playoffs this year is teams that getting into the playoffs playing well are gonna keep the momentum up.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think the playoffs this year should be a whole lot of fun. This has been 6th episode, Six Pack Sports Talk. I'm BDT Athletics. That's Jason's Ball Talk. Saying peace out. See you next week. We're going to be knocking out a mock draft, covering some NFL news and notes.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.
Raiders get Mendoza.
Yes, sir. Peace out, y'all.
Yes, sir.